Hello and Happy New Year to you and yours. Welcome to my report on the solar PV and Powerwall performance at our property for December 2020. Not much solar and a lot of Powerwall use, time shifting energy from off-peak to peak rate times. Here's the first graph showing the electrical energy coming into the property with the figures coming from grid and solar meter readings. The total solar production this month was 121 kilowatt hours, which I'll shorten again to units, which was just over 13% of the total electrical energy that came into the property. The average per day was 3.9 units, with a lowest value of just 0.1 on the 23rd and a highest value of 9.6 on the 1st. 6 units were exported to the grid, according to the Tesla app, which never records zero for a day. This was less than 1% of the total energy coming into the property and around 4.6% of the solar energy produced. 790 units were imported from the grid during the month. Just 19 units of peak electricity were drawn, meaning that, like last month, around 98% of the grid electricity was imported at off-peak rate. This next graph shows where the energy used by the property came from, with the figures being taken from the Tesla app. A little over 13% of the energy used came from solar, with 8.1% being used directly and the remainder via the Powerwall. Overall, 36.4% of the energy used was said to have come via the Powerwall. With both storage heaters in the annex switched on, they consume around half of the electrical energy. Most of the 55.6% said to have come directly from the grid was used by the storage heaters. This graph shows the energy going into and out of the Powerwall each day, as reported by the Tesla app. Around 89% of the energy that went in during the month came back out, ignoring the difference between the state of charge at the start and end of the month. The Powerwall was boosted to 100% during the off-peak period on most nights by temporarily increasing the percentage reserved for backup. The battery ran out on 5 days during peak time, leading to the small import of peak rate grid energy that was reported earlier. On 3 occasions in December, the next day was sunnier than forecast, resulting in the battery getting back up to 100% and a few units being leaked away to the grid. Here's the self-power graph, my least favourite, defined as energy going to the property directly from solar or via the Powerwall, so it excludes the energy that goes directly from the grid to the property. I've continued to keep the Powerwall in self-powered mode rather than return to advanced time-based control, so the app can't provide me with figures for peak and off-peak times. The Tesla app reports that the proportion of self-power was 44.4% over the month, but only 8.1% originated as solar. Here's the solar southwest production over the years since 2012. December is usually the worst month of the year for solar production. 2013 was the only exception when January was worse. This month's figure of 50 units is the second worst December out of the 9 we've recorded so far. The cumulative view of the year's production shows that 2020 ended up as being the best solar year we've had, just beating 2018 by 21 units, with those 2 years the only ones in which the old Southwest array has produced more than 3,500 units. This graph shows the percentage of the total daily solar energy produced by the old Southwest array since the introduction of the Southeast array. The reddish line shows the proportion expected according to the peak ratings of the 2 arrays, 3.92 kilowatts as opposed to 3.05 kilowatts. I'll probably be retiring this graph after this, as it doesn't seem to work so well in the winter when there's little sun as it did in the summer. As seen last month, the percentage can vary widely with high values on dull days and low values on brighter days. There was one exception to this broad generalisation when the old Southwest array reported 0 output on the 23rd, resulting in the dot at the bottom of the graph, but the new Southeast array's 100% contribution on that day only amounted to 0.1 units. Here's the other comparison graph, introduced last month, showing the output of the 2 arrays, with the orange diamonds of the new Southeast array being higher on the brighter days in the winter as the array is on a steeper roof. To finish, here are the graphs showing daily energy input, the same as the first graph, but with a bar for each day of the year since the 1st of February, and the daily solar production over that same period. It does support the impression that many people have around here that the end of the year has been rather duller than the early months of the year. That's it for this month, just a quickie. Just one more to go to complete my Powerwall's first year to the 31st of January. I'll leave you with the energy usage graphs from the Tesla app for each day of December and hope you'll come back next month.